Alrighty, good morning everybody, and welcome back to another stream. Today, like we do every Saturday, or we have been doing for the last couple of Saturdays, we'll be working on my portfolio. And we've come a long way, as we can see. We kind of got our to-do list up here. And for the last several weeks, we've been working on this admin section, and we're going to keep doing that today. We're working on our admin front end. So for folks who are new to what we're doing, we're basically working on my personal portfolio and blog, kind of doing a little revamp. We've done all of our design work, pretty much. A few missing ends and pieces there, but we've pretty much done all of it. So we can open up the mockups that we worked on together, show you what we're building here. So this is going to be the landing page. And then we've got a little about section that I was actually brainstorming what I'm going to write here the other day. So it's going to be, I think, pretty nice. Just kind of a more in-depth conversation about who I am. We'll have some projects in here. And then we'll have, obviously, a product page. We're going to have a blog. So we have all my blog posts in here. This is the filtered down version of that. And then this is what a blog post itself will look like. And then finally, we're working on this back end. And we decided to actually do away with a lot of the functionality that we mocked up in here. So we're no longer doing this kind of dashboard or anything like that. We're just kind of focusing in on the blog itself. And we've done a lot of progress. The last time we kind of finished up this index page, and we haven't worked on images yet. And we didn't mock up anything more in depth. So last time, we kind of had this blog post all set up. So we designed this with Tailwind and Laravel. And we just started working on this form over here. And we left off last time, we were running into some difficulties turning this into a Markdown editor. And we were trying to use several packages, but what was happening, it was super weird, was that it was like bugging out. We couldn't actually like select or click anything in here. And it seems like other people were having similar issues. I finally was able to track down an issue. They're also on Laravel, which I think is super interesting. So it seems like this could be something, there's something funky going on with Laravel and the package. And we were going to use Easy MDE because it looks like Simple MDE is just not maintained anymore. Yeah, like 3-4 years ago. So I think a lot of people are still using it, but this was a fork, and it looked like it's being a little bit more maintained than the other stuff. So that's pretty awesome. We're going to keep trying to work with this. And it seems pretty well used. That's kind of my first thing I check when I'm looking at a package. Like, oh, do we have a lot of activity on it? And if we do, I feel a lot more safe using it. And actually, I didn't even realize, last time I lost my cursor, we were kind of looking for one. I forgot we can look at GitHub tags here. I wonder if this is going to help us out here. All right, obviously Markdown's good. That's what I use. Oh, this is what I want. Could this be it? A better version? 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, 22 days. Okay. So maybe this is still maintained. This is not a language I understand, though, so that's going to be a little hard. But it looks like it's half English and half. I'm not sure. This might be. I'm not sure. It might be Chinese, but again, I'm not the expert here. This could be an interesting alternative for us. This just creates a Markdown editor. Markdown HTML. Wow, a lot of features here. Alrighty, let's go back. See if there are other ones that we can use. All-purpose Markdown editor. Sublime text Markdown. Inline preview. So some of these I think are actual, like, oh, let's see, somebody's sharing one with me. Oh, Chris Fritz. I do like his work. Let's take a look at this. Thank you for sharing. Let's see here. Marked. Ah, this is really nice. So ID editor. Interesting. Let's take a look at this one then. So it's marked. Vue.js examples index. Oh, is this actually coming from the Vue.js docs? Nice. how are they building this? Compiled Markdown. So the tricky thing here is that, so this is a view input, and I'm sure we could kind of figure out a way to make this work. Yeah, okay, we could make this work because he's binding to the value. The thing that I was worried about is that we're using a Laravel form, so this is a blade form, and if we're not binding to that value attribute, which you don't have to do, you just bind the data in view, you could run into issues where you're not actually sending that data through on the regular HTML post. But this is awesome. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. This is exactly probably what we're looking for here. Nice. Sometimes I think we can over-engineer a solution, and it's really nice to be able to see like, oh wait, this is really going to work for us and work, I think, pretty nicely. Just trying to look at these details a little bit more. Data input, compiled Markdown, update to bounce. And the nice thing, like, I don't even care about an HTML preview. That's like a nice feature for me. I really just care about being able to input. And I guess, I mean, technically, that means like we could just write pure Markdown in here, right? Nothing's stopping me from doing something like this. And just having this field accept Markdown. So I guess that's something to keep in mind as well. We don't necessarily need it. I just had it on my old blog, so I felt like it was kind of a nice thing to keep, because you kind of keep some of these standard features. But at this point in time, I feel pretty comfortable with Markdown. Like I don't necessarily feel like I need this preview feature because I use Markdown. I don't write on my blog. I just upload through my blog. So maybe we've been overthinking this. And it just took a little example here to be like, hey, this is what's going on. Because they're just using a text area, and then they're compiling, and they're using this Mark.js to parse it. Unfortunately, Laravel has a built-in Markdown parser, so we're going to actually use that to render this. Oh, that's interesting. Nice. Alrighty. Maybe we've been overthinking things. Chris Fritz is awesome. I did a podcast with him once, and he's just a phenomenal person and Vue developer, and really a tremendous part of the Vue community. So super cool to see that he's done something like this. I forget he's got a Vue boilerplate, like kind of set up scaffolding for like a lot of common Vue issues, like authentication and stuff like that. I forget what it's called. I'm sure if you Google his name, you'll find it. Oh, not Christopher. It's Christopher. Where is his GitHub? Yeah, Vue Enterprise boilerplate, super awesome. I've looked at that time and time again. If I like am looking for a specific pattern, and how could I do something in Vue? So he's got some really phenomenal stuff. I'll drop that in the chat for everybody. So if you want to look at that, you can. But it's a really nice. It's kind of. It takes care of a lot of things that you wouldn't, you have to do, but you don't necessarily want to code up. A lot like Laravel, which I think is pretty fun. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, maybe we were over-engineering this, or I was over-engineering this, I should say, in my head here a little bit. Okay, cool. So let's do that then. Let's not even worry about these fancy packages or anything. We'll just kind of say, this should be Markdown. And what I do want to do though, is I want to add a little basically note to this to make sure that I don't forget that this is Markdown. Or whoever comes next, right? You could have a preview button. I could have a preview button. On my old blog, I don't have the local environment to me. I would actually preview it like on the blog page. So if the blog was marked as inactive, I could actually only see it and it would appear here. And this to me is a better preview than the Markdown preview, if that makes sense, because I can see my blog post before anybody else can see it. And so we might do something like that again. I think that's really nice. That way I can give it a once over, and then I just hit it to active, and then I get a real preview. But maybe that's a button that we can incorporate into this editor. I guess the hard thing here is that it hasn't been saved. So the data is not in the, like I have to save it and edit it and go back and forth, that kind of thing. So I see what you're saying there, but I think for my purposes, and so the reason I'm not like, I need an editor inside of this blog is because I use Markdown for my actual writing, because I just feel like a writing experience should be tailored. So hello world, and this has a preview in it. And unfortunately, I feel like I'm at the point where I just do away with that and can just start writing whatever I want to write. When I was learning Markdown, it was really nice to have the preview and kind of see a little bit more of what I was doing. So for my workflow, I don't know if I necessarily need a preview, but it looks like that JavaScript was an awesome way, that snippet from Chris Fritz was an awesome way to go about doing it. So if you want to learn a little bit more, I would just follow his work there and make that for yourself. Awesome. So let's go ahead and add a little note for ourselves, so that way we know that this is an admin, or sorry, not an admin field, but like a Markdown field here. So I think we could use, trying to think of what tag would be good. I think there's a caption HTML tag. I just don't remember if that's the right semantic. Yeah, table captions. Fig captions is for images. Where's my list of HTML tags? There's one, I feel like there's one semantic one that I should be using. Block quote, body caption, yeah. Table caption. Column group Dallas. Because at first I want to go for a span, but I don't know if that's the right exact, if there's a better, more semantic tag here. Legend? No. Label? I mean, technically it's a label. It'll just be a smaller label. Progress section, select. Small, maybe? Couldn't actually use small. I think that might be the most in line with what we're thinking. Cool. Tag for which, oh, sorry. So I'm going to add a note to that input field, to this input field that says use add Markdown to this. This field supports Markdown, just in case we ever add any other users, and just to remind myself, like, oh, this is a Markdown field, because it's these ones just support plain text. So I want to remind myself that this field supports Markdown. So that's the idea there. So I guess, yeah, let's run with small and see what happens there. I know people don't use small, I think, as much anymore, but I think it works when we need it to. Okay, small. This field supports Markdown content. And if we give that a refresh, now we've got a little note here for ourselves, which is nice. I think that's a nice pattern here. And I don't think we're going to make this any bigger than it is unless we scroll it, but the first time you see it, it's going to be about that big. So this, I think, makes sense. I think there's an argument to be said for putting notes up here as well. It really kind of comes down to your preference and your user testing. So maybe, like, if we put it up here, what would that look like? This field supports Markdown content. You could right align it rather within that section. So what if we did that? Oh, let me see here. Write some of our Tailwind before we start going. Been using VS Code this last week. Yeah, I think that works actually nicely. And we don't have the same margin that we were having here, so admin form input, right? Label MB2, right? Nice. And oh, that's what's going on. So this needs to be, because we're doing like the direct child selector, content, this field supports Markdown content. I think that's fine too if you want to do that. Like something like this, or even in parentheses or something, like this field. I think that's fine if you want to do it that way, and it's probably faster. I don't know, but the designer in me is like, these are two separate pieces of information, right? One is the description of the field itself, and the other is supporting information that provides additional context. Still with a small tag? You could do that. I wonder if that'll... Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happens. Let's get ready. Comment that out for a second. Yeah, I think that, I think that's viable. In fact, it's much faster than what we were just trying to do. I think that's fine if you want to go that route. My reason for kind of having it separated was that, like I was saying, like content is a description of the field itself, and then that is supporting information. So they're related, but still separate pieces of information. I don't know. It comes down to your personal preference and how you want to design it. So you want to put like here? Oh, you just want to do the HTML differently than the way I was doing it. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess that is a much easier way to do it. We're inheriting some of that CSS, but we can just tweak that and override it. I would probably capitalize this. Not that way either. I don't know if I understand then. You're saying justify start, that's what this was when it was over here. Justify start label plus small. Div flex. This div. Oh, I think I see what you're saying there. Yeah, that's another way to write that code as well. But that's why I love coding, right? There's like 10 ways to do something. I actually kind of like the way we wrote this, because it's kind of saying like this is the label, but we've got some additional information here. I don't know how semantic that is, but like in my head it reads more like a sentence, like the label, and here's some supporting information. But let's see here. Let's go back to how we kind of had this a second ago. Get rid of these classes. I guess I didn't need to do that, but go back to kind of where we were going with this. Alrighty, give that a refresh. We lost that styling. That's what we go into our apps as here. So I guess we could do, I think we have some choices here. We could make this its own class, which I think it's fine if we do that. And then we have more granular control over what is happening inside of this section. So these are kind of like the decisions like that start getting made, and so, but I don't necessarily want to go down that road just yet. So I might kind of do this more inline here. So let's see. We have this label. So my kind of heuristic is like, okay, if we did this like 3 or 4 times, we had like multiple fields with this kind of info, I'd refactor to something a little bit more sustainable. But this is just, we've only done this kind of once, and so I'm fine leaving it like this. Something like that. And I haven't used Tailwind. Yeah, Tailwind's awesome. I'm a big fan of it. We've been using it throughout this project. So Tailwind CSS, they just had their 1.0. And it's pretty awesome. So if you're interested in learning more about it, check out their docs, because it is my favorite CSS framework on the block right now. Yep, that's exactly what's going on. So you kind of grab all these and then you hit. Yeah, that's definitely a thing you do. So it's utility first, right? So the idea is like you start with these utilities as you're rapidly developing your interfaces, and then you refactor when you're ready to refactor. Yeah, Bootstrap kind of tries to do this. They have like text align or text center. Like they have small utility classes, but obviously they're kind of a component thing, right? Versus Tailwind, everything else is like this. So we come in here, we add apply. And the really nice thing is like, so this text base class if we change that in the configuration, it still cascades through all of our custom styles. So based on your configuration, you're still you have this really nice cascade kind of built in. So that's why I'm a big fan of Tailwind. It's a pretty nice setup. I'm biased, but I really like it. Awesome. So yeah, so this field supports Markdown content. I think that's pretty good for what we were going for here. Let me try and say text small. That's what I would think I was going to do. I might make this a little darker because it is smaller content. Let me see if we change the size of it, I think so. Yeah. Let's go with that and kind of roll with it. Cool. And so this should support Markdown content, and I believe if we save it, let's see what happens. This is wired up. That looks like it's going to work for us, which is really nice. Yeah, we've already built the backend. We already have all of our endpoints. So if anyone's new to this, so all of these are going to work for us, and we TDD'd those. So check out the YouTube channel. Should be down below on Twitch if you're interested in learning more about how we did all that fun stuff. Nice. Are we done with everything here? Let me go look. Oh, we're not. I don't think we're quite done. Because we want to work on our tags relationship as well. But for the most part, where is this? We've got, oh, I should probably go to the controller. That makes more sense. Because we can look at the validation. So we've got the title, we've got header, image, description, status. And title, header, image, description, content, status. Nice. I think that's everything we kind of need for our very simple blog. And maybe instead of saying this field, maybe we could say content supports. And I actually don't think we need capital S. It's kind of a double content, right? So we can just get rid of this because it's just saying this supports Markdown. Nice. Very nice. I'm pretty happy with where we ended up with this. And we're going to leave this on. Sometimes like I take this off of my fields for probably no good reason, but my text areas, I should say. But I think for this, our purposes here, we're going to leave it on. Although I think I do want to put a min height. I think it takes care of that issue where it kind of goes to the top. So let me see here. Let me go back to this text area here. Yeah, we'll take this out of here. Let's start with 24, and then we can say like min height. I have to review. Well, let's go back to Tailwind here and say min height. I don't think they have a lot of options for us. Yeah, we'd have to add that to our configuration. Let's see what this does. Oh, we've got to turn on our watcher. Because we need that to compile from our SAS. Cool. And I'll actually, yeah, we haven't built the front end yet. That's coming next. But we've got sort of this back end coming together. Edit. All right, we want that to be a lot larger. So 48 value, yeah. Yeah, that's about where we had it before. And I think a min height. Let me just test it before I get into the configuration. I don't know if you all have seen this, but this was new for me that Google Chrome now does this little pop-up. Kind of tells you a lot of information, which I think is really awesome. So we've got min height. Let's see, like 400 pixel. That's too many. Yeah, let's take care of that. Nice. And how are we going to do this? I mean, I can write CSS. Like, it's nothing preventing me from doing this. Except for I haven't written vanilla CSS in a while, so let me see. We could say, how many remnants are we going to say? Like, I forget what, oh, I don't need that. I'm writing a lot of vanilla CSS this week, so apologies if I add those semicolons. 64, all right, so 16 rem. So we were off by a little bit. Nice. Give this guy a refresh. So now it won't go lower than that, but it will be higher. Now that's the nice part of working with, I think, Tailwind is that, yeah, if you need to write a line of CSS, go for it. There's nothing stopping you. If you want to add that to your configuration, though, you can do that too. It's really up to you. Like transition, like this is not built in, so we wrote some CSS and it was fine. This just helps you keep a little bit more consistent with your designs. Like if I added like a lot of custom min heights, we might look at reevaluate this. But again, I'm only going to refactor if I'm doing things 3-4 times. I'm not going to worry about it until then, because otherwise you're sort of prematurely optimizing for things. Okay, cool. So we've got all this working for us. What are we going to do next? So we've got this delete button up here. So we've got, I think, two. Let me commit first, and then we'll go from there. So git status, commit. What did we do? We added post edit form. Nice. Something like that. So we've got two, I think, features to kind of think about. So we've got this tags functionality. So our blog will have many tags, and in our mockup here, how are we doing this? We kind of had like a tags field, or tags like sub page within the blog. We actually haven't built this yet either. So that's something I'm going to want to do. And I was thinking of just doing like a really nice multi-select kind of field. Where we just kind of populate it with the tags and kind of go from there. I'm going to probably want to. That's another it's another one where like in Vue I could do this really quickly, but this is a Laravel form, so I have to pull in a package or write some other type of JavaScript for it, or I could just use the default multiple select and we can kind of roll from there. So maybe we'll roll with that and kind of see how that works. Trying to think of the best way to present this information here, because what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to show all the tags and then show the tags. Maybe we could do checkboxes. That could be interesting. But then we're going to want to show all the tags that have been selected already. Yeah, we can do that pretty easily. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So let's go to the code. Let's go to the post controller here. So this is our edit page, right? So posts. So we're going to want to get tags. We're just going to get all of them. Oop. And we're going to compact that in. And then we're going to probably load. So on our post model, we have tags already, so we'll just lazy load that, or eager load, I should say. So post load, I guess. I think we can get away with doing what I was thinking first. Post equals post load, and we'll say tags. All right, because post has many tags and vice versa. I think this will work for us. So what happens? Let's DD these. And with tags to array as well. Just so we can look at them. Nice. Yeah, we have our tags here. Are all 5 of these tags added to this? I'll be able to. Well, we'll start there. Is that really what's going on? Inside the database, we've got to post tags. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I guess that's what's going on here. Let me go to my Cedar. Yeah, we're creating tags inside the database Cedar. Oh yeah, we're just kind of attaching. I think we can do a limit, right? All right, I think we can pass a number to our get, actually. Let me go to Laravel. Look at the documentation. So let me see limit. Query limit. Yeah, take 5. So we just say, like, take 3. And that's nice because now we'll only, like, we're only taking some of them. And then we'll go through that, which I think is a nice approach. Oh, is that supposed to be before the get? Yeah. Had that backwards. Nice. So now if we rerun our migration, and that's just an alias for PHP Artisan migrate fresh seed, so I've got a few of those in there that you might see me use from time to time. Alrighty. So now if we come back to this, actually that's going to fail because it doesn't exist, right? Oop, we haven't built that page yet. Alrighty. So now I think this is going to be a better test for us. Actually, I wonder if we broke our test. I don't think we did. Yeah. Oh, that's DDing. Doesn't really matter. Nice. So this is going to be easier for us because we're going to be missing some stuff. Cool. Cool. All right. So post controller. We've got all this data coming in. I'll get rid of our database here. And we'll go back to our edit page. So let's go ahead and put in, and this we're going to do a little bit of front end stuff, but we're also going to probably have to update our tests as well. So that's going to be a fun part of this process here. So let's call this admin form input. And this is going to have a label. Let's call this tags. And this will be a select. And select multiple. And we're going to do a for each in here. Right? So tags as tag. I haven't written Laravel in a while, so sometimes I mix up my view for each in my Laravel one, but I think this is going to work for us. So option, and it's going to be tag, and then this is going to be tag as well. I believe those were coming in. All right, so we're probably going to tag ID for the value, and then tag title. And we'll probably capitalize these or just make sure they're capitalized. And I could do it with, I think this will work actually. We'll see. Alrighty. Yeah, nice. Now I can kind of multi-select. And yeah, it's nice to have this be more like, these are all the tags. I thought we had 5 tags. It's nice to have that like look really nice, but we'll get to that. We'll get there, no worries. I thought we had more than, yeah, we're missing So we got in. That one at the end there is missing. So why is that happening? Oh, it was just scroll. I thought I scrolled. Anyway, that's weird. Well, we've got all the tags here, which I think will work nicely. So now we kind of want to pre-select the ones that are already here. So how do we want to do that? I might do something like in array. I forget what PHP's in array looks like. Ah, nice and easy. Val, the array name. Cool. I think this will work. So let's see here. So what we want is the post. And if the post tags in array, if this value tag is inside of post tags, and then we'll have the, I believe it's checked. No, it's not. Let's see if this breaks or not. Yep. Oh, I probably have to do 2 array. Alrighty. That didn't work, which is frustrating. So why not? Sometimes it's worth going into Tinker or something like that. Oh, let me run that again now that we don't have those DDs. Okay, cool. So tests are still working. The PA Tinker, it's kind of my shortcut for that. I'll make this a little bigger so it'll be easier for everybody to see. So give me the tags. Ooh, what happened there? Tags are equal to app tags get, and give me the post equal to app post with tags, and then we'll just grab the first one. There we go. So this is basically what we kind of have in our data here. And now we can really start testing. So I can just copy this. And we'll kind of go from there and see if this is working. Okay, so we're gonna have to let me just grab the first one. That is true. False. Which we know shouldn't be, because in, alrighty. So this is what I was kind of wondering, because these are like keys, so we're gonna have to check the IDs. Hey, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the community. So I was wondering if it was going to be able to do like this check against like all of this info. It doesn't look like it's going to. This is kind of fun because I know I've done this before, but it's not jumping to the forefront of my mind, and so now it's going to be just trying to figure it out. Let's go to Eloquent. Collections. I think there's a has method. That might be, oh yeah, contains. Let's see. Maybe use to determine if a given model. So we would say this guy contains nice. Look at that. That is all we were looking for. And let me see if this one is false. Nice. So eloquent takes care of us. Saves the day. And that's honestly a lot nicer to read than what we were doing here. So let's see here. So post tag. And is it checked or selected? Forgot my HTML here. So select, HTML selected. That might be it. Yeah. Nice. So now we can see that we've got these 3 checked and these 2 are not checked. So we know which tags are associated with this one. And we'll probably do something like this. And if we post now, let's see what happens. Kind of have to get our whatchamacallit, data working a little bit differently. So let's say request all. Oop. Let's see what's going on here. So tags 3. Oh, did I not refresh after I did the? There we go. Should be an array of IDs. Let's go to relationships here. And many to many, which is what we have here. I think there's just sync button here. Yeah, I think this is what we're gonna want to do. So let's add some validation here. Let's TDD this out first. Oh, that was the wrong button. What are our tests here? So we'll go to resources, routes, tests, feature, post tests, right? Can create a post, can update a post. So let's see here. All right, let's start. I think we have our validation tests down here, so we'll start with this. And it doesn't require a status, or tags rather, I should say. Okay, so I don't think we need a validation test for it. Actually, posts, let's see, tags array. Alrighty. So we just need this author ID. Post tags going to equal an array, and we'll call this like null or something. Just a little test for ourselves. And I think if we, let me go back to that. Go back. We deselect all these. We should not. All right, so this is missing, which is interesting. I forget. Let's see. Let's just see Laravel here and see. I guess we could just do a test for that. Oh. Well, under validation, and we'll fix that actually. So we'll do validation here. Available validation rules. So we'll just say it's nullable, but it should be an array if it comes through, right? Because it's not required. So we've got an array here and nullable. Or missing. I think that's probably the one. I thought there was some, or maybe it's empty. I thought there was one. Oh, it exists. No, that's not what we want. Alrighty, you know what? I think we just need to do this array one. So if there is, so this will never require this. Alright, so we don't need to write a validation test for this. We'll just do it on the, we'll test it on the request itself. And we'll just say it should be an array. If it's there. So we'll give this a refresh. I think that's working. And we get through our validation, no problem. Okay, cool. So that's all we need there. And then let's go back to our post test. And I'm going to actually pop this into 2 different windows here. There we go. Oop, editor tabs. Let's go vertically. I need to write a different, I need to write a keyboard command for that because I do it all the time. We got the controller. Where's our test? Nice. All right, let's go back up. User can update a post. And so let's write a new test for this. So user can update tags. So I mean, there's an argument to be made here that this should actually be its own test class, because it could be, you have like a post tags class as opposed to embedding this inside of posts. I like to put it in here because it's like I'm managing the posts, and in doing so I'm managing this relationship. So it's like the parent is post, therefore it should be embedded in here. But I've also seen people do it where they actually create a separate class. So that is something to keep in mind. So let's try this out. Can sync tags when updating a post. It's a little verbose, but I think that's descriptive of what's going on here. So let's grab some of our boilerplate here. Alrighty, nice. And I'm going to come in here and say updated posts. Oh, we're going to have to create a tag as well. So we'll create ourselves a nice little tag here. We'll bring this in. And try to think what we want to do here. What would be the best way? Let's kind of start with no tags. I was going to add it to that post, but we can start without it. And this updated post. Tags should equal to the tag ID. Pretty simple. And then we're going to make this patch. So this should work up to this point. So I like keeping these assertions in here. And then I think there's a way to assert a relationship. Let me go to testing. Alrighty. So what we could do is we could requery for the post and assert that it has that tag associated with it. We could check the database and assert that the database in the post tags table has a relationship now, because it shouldn't have had one before. And that actually might be the way we go about doing this. I like testing in the database sometimes. I just kind of think that's a nice way to start. All right, so we'll bring this up here actually. What's the name of that table? Let's see here. Need to go up to database. So post tags. Is there a assert database empty? No, just assert soft deleted. Oop. There we go. So assert database missing. We'd probably have to. Would just be missing. Yeah, there's no real good way to. Let me see. There's like an assert database. Empty. No. All right, because we need like an entity to check if that's gone. So this is not the assertion we're looking for. So anyway, so post tags, and it should have. So we're not receiving this entity for anywhere. So we could, I guess, well, if it's kind of a tautology, if we like query for it and then it's there, and then we're just asserting that it's there. So maybe that's not the best. Sometimes you just need to talk yourself through these tests, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, this is actually what I intended. Sometimes like some pseudocode helps. So being like, all right, no, for some reason that's not doing my brackets here. So what do we want to do? We want to see, make sure the relation, the join, right? No, but let's just say a relationship was created. That's all we're trying to do. So what do we have to do? We're going to have to get, because we're not returning it anymore, we're going to have to get the relationship. And then we could say, check that it matches our expectations, or assert. Right? That's all we're trying to do. So that's the idea. We'll get rid of that. So we're just going to get the relationship. So we're just going to get that post again. It's a updated post. Maybe we do fresh. Like this. Load tags. And then we could say this assert count. Updated post tags. I don't know. Let's see if this will work. Filter. Oh, I'm still in Tinker. Where is RDD happening? Looks like it's working now. Oh, it's happening over here. Fresh on array. That makes sense. That makes sense. So we'll just have to query it. So we say final post. I don't know. Say post. Find. This is posts. And we're gonna with tags. Like that. Is this really what I want? Yeah. It's supposed to be an integer, so I don't know why that's highlighted. Undefined index ID. Oh. So we have to grab this from the post itself. size 0 matches. So let me just DD this. Which is actually making sense because we haven't written that code. So let's go ahead and write that now. So if, all right, we're going to update this first. And if is set, something like that, data tags. I don't think we need the if set, but I like to be explicit sometimes. Then we will say, then we'll do that sync we were talking about. So we'll do post roles sync data tags. Because there's a chance this comes in null. Actually, we do want to check for that. So if, all right, we'll start like this. So if it's set, so we know we've got data in here, we're just doing a general sync. We're ready to do something like post sync. All right, actually post tags sync data tags, right? If that's not set, we're getting nothing because this is the update. And so we'll say post tags sync. And we'll just give it an empty array. Because that will get rid of everything, right? Because there is a chance that we go through and deselect all the tags. Alrighty. Let's see if this is working for us now. Alrighty. Fail that null matches expected post updated. So it's just dying earlier on us. That's probably what's going on here. So let me see if this will happen. Oop. Go back to our PHP. Right? Oh, that have to be a variable. Test is set. That's what we need. How is that worked? For some reason. I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, hang on. Right, it set does not return true for a user. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I thought yes, that was going to work for us. Let's DD the post here. Also DD the data. Just so I can look at it. Alrighty, and we've got tags here, so that should be working. And I'm just going to say post fresh. I don't know why that DD is not working. seem to like go through. Let me see here. Let's do this one. This is probably more. In line with what we're trying to do here. So that's happening. And we'd expect this to get into here. Alrighty, something's going on here. Oh, that could be why. Yep, I did forgot this. Sometimes you just need to go line by line. Alrighty, that should fix this. Yeah, there we go. And it has, alright, so theoretically this is working. Let's see if our test is written. Nice, alright, there we go. So it took us a second to get there, but our test is working. Let's run all the other tests to see. Okay, so we can add a tag. So let's see here. So there's actually like three tests I think we could write. So user can add a tag when updating posts, or sync, add a tag, can remove a tag, and can remove all tags. Those are the tests we could be writing here. But I think we're fine. Let's go through. So this is our can add a tag. So we can add tags. This is a tag, but it should theoretically work for all of them. So I don't think we need to like make one for a singleton and one for a group. So it can add tags when updating posts. Excuse me. Now we're going to need to do remove tags. Alrighty. So we've got a tag here, post. And we're going to make this post attach, right? And we'll do the same mistake I just did. Now we'll learn from that mistake. And I think we could just do tag ID. So we've created this relationship now. And then this updated post will not have tags, right? So tags won't be there. And then with relationships, yep, and we'll expect the count to be 0. Nice. We run the full suite again. So we can remove a tag. And user can remove all tags. And let's say here, we'll create 3 of them. So we'll say these are tags, and this will be tags. We'll just pluck the ID. That should work. Oh, going to grab that test name. Nice. Run through our suite here. Cool, awesome. So now we know that these tags are going to be doing the right thing when we're editing. We also need to write this code. Unit testing monks. I don't know what that last part means, but yeah, we're unit testing for the win. I'm big fan. Kind of getting ourselves all the way up there. And it's funny. So I've been in situations where like a test like that really would have saved me, because monks is worrying. I'm not sure I know what that acronym is. I'll Google it. Don't know that one. Anyway, here. What was I saying? Yeah, I've been in situations where that is these tests are really saved. Like I've done a deployment we changed our database schema, and if I had had a test here in place, that would have really saved me for something, or even this functionality. We like changed some controller code, and then all of this kind of blew up. So these little things I think are pretty useful. Nice. So we're going to want to kind of redo this on the store side as well. But we'll worry about that when we actually get over to storing and creating. Nice. So now we can come in here. We wanted to add. That's actually a little, this is not the best functionality, but now we should have all 4 of these. Just play with this a little bit. Save. We don't have any selected. We just want 1. Nice. I don't know if we need to make it more advanced than that or not. I wonder if anyone's done this yet. We can look. We can do Tailwind CSS multi select. Actually, the Tailwind docs have some forms in here, so you can actually come in here and like look for options like this. I don't think they have a multi-select though. I think you need a little bit more JavaScript to do that. But anyway, for my purposes, I don't really care about adding in some fancy multi-select. I think this works pretty well, but I do want to style this a little bit more. Kind of just make it look consistent. So we'll go back to watching. Oh, I didn't set that up. So npm run watch. Alright, should be able to give this a refresh. Oh, and that was from a while ago, so we rerun our migrations a little bit. That's not what I want happening. That's interesting. We'll have to look at that. Over here, this is okay. Okay, cool. Where are we at now? Let's go over to our, get out of post controller here. We'll just leave it up. Go back to edit. And now we can start styling this. And inside of our app stats, I don't think we have select in here. Let's see. What can we put on this? Let's try this and see if that'll help us out with some of these styles. Alrighty, so this looks a lot better already. I don't really want there to be a min height on it. Let's see, select, remove, select multiple. Let's try this. This is JavaScript. Boy, this is tricky to read here. Not sure that's what I want. All right, let's just kind of play with it a little bit more. And maybe I'll just have to accept this. That's also a possibility. I do want to see style select multiple. Let's see here. I think we have to use a pseudo selector. No, that's not what we're looking for. Let's see if this is what we want. Nope. Maybe not. Maybe there's not an easy way to target this. Nice. Checked. Cool. There we go. Took us a second, but we got there. Alrighty. Let's throw that guy into there. And what are we going to say? Say background primary, or we're saying blue 600, and then text white. Let's see if that works. I don't know what that means. Let me see here. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Was that focus? Let me see if I can grab this guy. I don't know where that little box is coming from, which is a little frustrating. Hey, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, what's going on with that? Let me see if I can look through the CSS here and see what that style could be. Oh, after? Maybe it's just the option itself. Nope. That is. Maybe just something I'll have to look with. Let's see. Let me see what this one's all about. What is the best easy CMS system? I am a newbie. That is a good question. It depends on how easy you want it to be and what you're trying to do. I'm going to assume you're probably trying to actually code this from scratch, as opposed to using something like Wix or like a Squarespace, because I think those are really good options if you don't know how to code. But I'm assuming you're here, so you know at least coding, and you're just getting started with that. So depends. Didn't see mouse, but it's that easy to get behind. Yeah, I love Laravel Nova. I've used that for a couple of projects to code CMSs and CRMs and all that good stuff. Yeah, super Laravel oriented. So that one I think is my go-to if you're into Laravel. If I don't know what when you say newbie, I don't know how new and what level. So are you like a backend dev, or are you interested in that at all? You just know front end stuff. That's really going to change what options you have available to you. But Laravel Nova, I think, is a really good one if you are interested in Laravel and you want to learn more. The reason we're coding this from scratch is because A, it's just fun, a little educational. Oh, nice, that's awesome. Yeah, e-commerce too. Nova's really good for that as well. I was working on a online Lara Chape for a little while there with Nova, but fortunately I kind of fell behind on that. So yeah, you can use Nova for a ton of great stuff. What was I saying before that? Yeah, so it really kind of depends on what you mean by newbie. If you just know HTML and CSS, that's going to mean something. All right, so you're front end right now learning Laravel. I think if you're learning Laravel and you want to keep learning Laravel, Nova is an excellent option. And if you're familiar with the Laravel concepts, it's going to really fit into your learning style very well. If you're learning Laravel, I think a really great thing is to at least try to build your own CMS. That's a really good one, like just because it's really great practice. That's how I really learned Laravel the first time, was just building my blog portfolio, my portfolio's blog rather, I should say. And now I feel really confident in Laravel, so it's really good practice. Mohammed Saeed has one. I think it's called Wink Laravel blog. Yeah. Yeah. This is also, I think, a really great Laravel-based blog option. Yeah, Laracast as well. Really great resource. But Wink is a good one from Mohammed, so he's kind of set this up, and it looks really nice, and I think it works really well. So I'd recommend that as well. And yeah, Laracast is awesome. I watch it all the time as well. So even today, I was watching one a couple weeks ago because I wanted to refresh my memory on something. So definitely a valuable resource. So we can pull that up for everybody. Laracast. And they have some free videos as well. So they changed. I always feel like they're tweaking their design a little bit. Yeah, this is really nice. But anywho, those are where I get started. Right on. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to live with this styling. It's okay. If I was building something that needed to be very official, I wouldn't do this. I would kind of really try to make it more of a multi-select element drop-down. But for these purposes, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I do want to kind of figure out why it's not going full width for me. That I'm much more interested in, or full height, I should say. I have trouble being up to date in the world of new JS frameworks. How do you cope with that? I'm okay with JS. Yeah, it's kind of, I think you kind of have to pick something and kind of stick with it for a little while, and that it's hard, but it's definitely, I think, the way to go. Yeah, I'm a big Vue fan myself. I'm going to always say Vue all the way. React is also great, and there's a lot of overlap. If you learn one of those, it's pretty similar. And there are more opportunities for React. I think we're still being honest. But Vue is probably easier to learn, and I'm a little biased and partial to it. So I would always recommend Vue. So yeah, Vue is just awesome in terms of simplicity, getting up to speed with it. I just think it's phenomenal. It's a really great front-end framework. So I would recommend that, especially if you're new to JavaScript frameworks. I think it's the easiest one to get started with. And you can use a lot of those concepts and bring them over to what you are doing in a different JavaScript framework. So it's kind of like learning multiple languages. They want to get a job, they want a React dev, all the React dev pick on. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. I think there are more and more Vue jobs though coming up. Like, I've always worked professionally with Vue. They're harder to find, but that is kind of what is out there. If you're looking for jobs and in your area or wherever you're searching, they want React devs, then it's kind of like, okay, it's worth going and learning React then at that point. And again, if you learn React and you come back to Vue, like the concepts are still going to be really similar. So those are the big three. There are tons. Yeah, awesome. That's really, really awesome. So hopefully you all can connect and get that set up. That's awesome. Have very little difference. Yeah, they're very similar. So would you recommend learning both? I would start with one. Start with one, and really pick it and really, I think, learn it deeply. And then once you go over to the other one, at whatever point, whenever you have to, that's the way to go. Yeah, I think there's a good case to be made for starting with React. I still like Vue as a starting point because it is easier to learn, so you can get up to speed faster. But again, those are valid opinions. I'm not going to say do it one way or the other. That's just advice. Yeah, so that's kind of where my mind is on those on those points. Thanks for asking. Staying up to date with like everything else is tricky. It's hard. It's sort of the constant challenge for us as developers, right? Staying up to date with everything in JavaScript land. I think if you know a framework though, and you're keeping up to date with all the changes that are happening to like JavaScript itself, you're probably in really, really good shape. Otherwise, you could probably overwhelm yourself trying to stay up to date with more. Yeah, single file components are a Vue thing. That's why I like Vue. Whereas React is all JSX. I guess Vue has the capacity for JSX, but it's not really core to Vue. You use the templates instead, and so that is also a big part of the learning curve. I think learning that JSX syntax. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Awesome. So let's get back to what we were doing here, though. I was trying to make this, for some reason, be tall. So height auto, min, max height, none. Auto. Yeah, no worries. Always happy to help out. Maybe I have to do a display block. What's going on here? I don't think that makes sense. Alrighty. I'm going to try searching for one more thing. Inline block. Is that all I have to do? I don't know why that's not. Yeah. Oh, I'll just live with that. It's not the end of the world, especially because we made this text a little larger in here, so you can kind of see what's going on a little bit easier. Oh, is this what that is? Let me see here. That is selected. So let me go back to our code here. Option check. I thought we... I improved my CSS. Yeah, it's a practice thing. CSS is really hard. And I think people like don't give it enough like credit sometimes. They're all kind of dismissive of it, like, oh, it's CSS, whatever. I do think it's like pretty darn hard. It's pretty tricky to really master, so definitely it's going to take some time, going to take some practice. But you just got to kind of keep working on it, keep hacking on it. I think Flex or Tailwind really helps with that because it's utility based, so you have to know CSS in order to really use it, versus Bootstrap, which you're kind of like, oh, button, that's a button. Like the classes are so descriptive that you don't know the fundamental CSS behind it. You just know the Bootstrap setup, and so that is something that I think would is why I like Tailwind over some of the other options. what if I do that? Okay, so it is that selected state. All right, that's not working for us. Let me just do red real fast, just to make sure it's, because that blue looks very similar to browser blue. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. It's not even getting those styles. Right? I thought this was our blue for a second, but it's not. It's a different blue. Not getting them. Yep. It's not like check. Yeah, so this is what we should be doing. Let me try doing this. Because it's getting the style. Maybe it's not background color. Yeah, nothing's happening. That'll work. Interesting that that's working. And it's interesting that it's only getting applied when I'm selecting them. Let's see here. Oh, that's weird. Is that really what's happening here? You have to use a linear gradient? If that's the case, that is shenanigans. Wow. Oof. Alrighty then. I guess that's what we have to do. Learned something new today. Oh, but now it's not working. I gotta go to refresh. Yep. Alrighty. Sure enough. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Alrighty. I think there's a way to, all right, now I gotta go to my Tailwind docs here and reference, how do I reference a color? Let's try this. It's those little like kind of crazy things in CSS. That's what makes CSS really hard. I'll tell you that. So sometimes that's really going to be just Googling around until you find something. Because I would have never guessed that, honestly. Text white. I feel like there was a way to be like text blue and like import it. I know that's not what it is, but and that's not going to work. Yeah, we'll have to use hex values, which is fine. Yeah, I don't know if that. I've worked with Java before and I've had nothing but headaches, so I probably was not doing it very well though. All right, so I'm just gonna grab this button. Let's see here. Let's grab the hex. Hey, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let's see here. We'll pop that in there. Alrighty. There we go. The color is not white, which is so weird. I wonder if they say anything about that. Let's take a look at that Soul code pen here. Go on focus. Right. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't work with Java that much. I actually was working with PHP first, got pulled into a Java project, and we ended up switching back to PHP. That's the first story there. Because what happened with that project? We were trying to use something that was open source. We could not get the build working. The dependencies were all over the place. It was an old project too. That was part of the issue. It wasn't up to date or anything. And so we just built it from scratch in PHP. So that was faster than us wrangling with Java trying to get it to work. So that has been my exposure to Java. I'm sure Java is a wonderful thing to use when it's the appropriate thing. Just in that case, it wasn't, and we paid the price for that. But that's where you learn from that. So okay, so this is what's happening here. So this is saying on focus, do this, which is interesting, and then it just kind of leaves the selected part alone. So that's why if we come over here, if these are selected, what if I unselect out of here? It's changing. So what happens if I grab this guy? Let's keep plugging away here. So this will only do this now. And that's kind of the... Alrighty, I might just have to live with this. I might make the background different. Or just a slightly lighter. Just because the text contrast there is not great. So let's see here, what's going on. We're gonna make this its own section. And let's say background gray, let's say 200. And I need that add apply. And then I'll probably just indent this. What's going on? Oh, this just needed to be indented. Right? No, I've done this too much now. There we go. We'll get there. Alrighty. That's helping out. Alright, we spent far too much time worrying about that styling, but that's front-end dev, right? So let me go ahead and commit some of this stuff. Let's see. Added tags sync to post update. Git push. Right on. And we'll turn watch back on. Nope. I need to set up that alias. Cool. So I think the last thing we're going to do on this page here is this little delete button. And I was thinking about this. I'm debating whether or not I want to like just have that be its own page or have this be JavaScript. Or even just its like own form. Kind of do the hack that this is doing. We might do that because that would just be really easy. And maybe just do like a inline alert. Something like this. I don't know. That didn't look bad. So like in the old days, like I would have made a view component. I wouldn't say the old days. Depending on the situation, you can make a full view component. And you could use something like Sweet Alert, and it looks really nice. I don't know if I need to do that per se, because yeah, I think I just might use a confirm like that. It's an internal site, and it's just so much easier to get up and running than like having all the dependencies and stuff like that. So definitely want to have some sort of confirm on this. So let's see. Let's go to our PHP storm here. And let me go to, we might have to refactor some things if we're going to go that route, but that's okay. Let's go to views. Do I have partials in here yet? No, didn't do that. Where am I looking? Layouts, internal. So this is logout form. Post. Yeah, so this is what's happening here. This is just kind of like a hidden form. And this is actually default Laravel, which is kind of fun. And then on click, it's doing this prevent default kind of thing, and then doing an inline sort of check there. Interesting. Let me just test this really fast, see if this will work. It'll just be null. Will this work? Yeah, look at that. And we're locked out. So that's kind of all I want to do for that delete button. I know that's not like the nicest thing in the world, but it will save me a lot of time. So at this point, that's kind of what I'm interested in. Go to edit, and let me undo that. That's kind of a hacky way to like still keep it PHP oriented as opposed to like doing a full view component. Cool. Let's see here. Let's see here. We'll just grab these styles here. We'll call it a delete form. I should have left that CSS. I mean, that's not CSS, JavaScript. That's what we're doing here. So confirm. Are you sure you want to delete this post? Nice. And delete form. All right. We got two buttons here. Oh, that was the wrong thing. Why is that not? I had a bunch of problems with this field, and it took me forever to get this set sorted out with the CSS. For like no other reason than it's just wanting to be difficult on me. Yeah, that'll be the fix. Where do we go? I use item center. I was writing too much vanilla Flexbox this week. All right, so we hit this. Show when it's supposed. Nice. And what is this going to do? So if we go to our route list here, CD desktop code. What is this next portfolio? All right, we're going to do this. Flexbox. Yeah. Flexbox is takes a little while to get used to, but once you have it, it's awesome. I would not go back to the old way of doing it with floats and everything like that. I love Flexbox, but at the same time, it is kind of crazy. Okay, so let's see here. We've got our post.destroy. It's the route we want. So let's go to this delete form. Oh, and what's the method here? Here's the delete request. And I think this will work. Yeah, if we open up post controller here. Oh, we're gonna need to pass it that thing. The post itself. Okay. That's working. Delete it. Did that work? I think it did. Nice. And it can be that simple, which is nice. So now we've really finished up our page here. Let me go back to that and clean it up a little bit. So we can get rid of this button class here. And I want to go back to our tests. Actually, before we do that, create edit index show. We don't actually have, I think, a delete view. So I go to controller. Yeah, I don't think I need to update it because we have an edit and show view, but we don't have a edit or delete one. I thought we might have had that for a second, but we don't. So let's make sure all of our tests are working. Nice. Edit, post, delete, form. Yeah, I know. I think I just did it really fast, and I have just not gone back to change it, and now it is driving me crazy. I might go back and fix that, so you guys don't have to watch it. That's the other thing. Like I only spend 2 hours a week on this, so I just don't want to waste our time doing that. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, I did it for tags too. Versus media and user, which are both singular. So I know better. It's just not, I wasn't thinking in that moment. Cool. So what have we done? We've done a lot. We've got this whole edit section working really nicely. That's going to make our create button so much faster. We'll probably put a create posts button up here. I'll just go to a form. I do want to look at this CSS and why this is not what's going on here. Let me look at this real fast. That's doing with 80%. Delete overflow none. Oh, hidden. done that like 3 times today, so that's not going to work. What's going on here? So this is saying width 20. This would flex. With full. I'm wondering if it's because of this table. Yeah. So if we don't have that. Oh, I'm going to have to refresh this real fast. So that's saying the min width is 800 pixels. I wonder if we take off this max min width here on this guy. Does that solve this problem? Let's refresh this. So that's probably part of it. Alrighty. That seems like a faster fix. So this internal min width. Let's say like doesn't look great. That's probably why we were doing it the other way. Where did that go? I need something between extra small and small. Oh, might not just even have it. Let's see, Tailwind config. Let's see if that'll work. We still run into a little bit of that issue. So how small does this need to be? Maybe we just do this flip earlier. Where am I missing something? Oh, down here. And what's going on here? Where's this coming from? It's margin bottom here. Alrighty, that should fix most of it. I don't want to put a max width on that. Let's see here. Let's say extra large. There we go. Maybe, what is it? Does this have a max width on it? 2XL? That, I think, works more or less. And, all right, so we got this max width small. We'll say large MX0. Cool. That should fix this problem they were running into, right? Nope, did it not? Oh, that's frustrating. All right. We're going to go extra small. But I think at this point it doesn't matter as much. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Nice. Very, very nice. And then one thing, all right, we've got about 8 minutes left here. So let me, oop, I didn't want to open ScreenFlow. So we'll commit that. So fixed responsive layout. Issue with table. Push. Nice. And we'll go back to watching. All right. So the final thing we want to do today, that I kind of want to focus on, is just trying to get this navigation up here. Oh. So if we can do that pretty quick, I'll feel like we're in good shape here. Alrighty. PHP Storm. Let's go back to our post page. And let's make this its own. It could be a nav, but yeah, we have multiple navs on the page. So why not? And what links do we have? Post tags images. Nice. And we'll say text large, text bold, or font bold, I should say. Nice. I guess it's only the selected one. Let's do like MR6. Alrighty, let's grab some of this. And we'll actually get rid of this from here. And I think those are font light, actually. Nice. Maybe we'll go back to 6. Have a lot of white space. And then they're each going to need, actually we'll go back to 4, because they're going to need a, oh no, sorry. We're going to need padding bottom, like 2. And then we can do border. I don't know why I'm typing this out. I should be doing the 3 cursor trick. And then, actually, I just need out this one, right? We do border bottom. Oh, I guess it's supposed to be border bottom. Alrighty. That's more or less what we were going for. I think blue 600. Maybe we'll add even a little bit more margin here. Nice. And we'll do some hover effects. So we'll add transition to each of these. Say hover text, gray 900 maybe? Yeah, this will obviously be blue. 700, maybe we'll make this 700 so there's a little bit more distinction on that hover. And this one's going to need a border hover. I guess it doesn't need a hover technically because it's already selected. You're already on this page. Nice. And that's pretty much all we're talking about with those. So the routes for this are going to be, what do we do on that edit page? Yeah. Let's grab that. And I don't think we have an images page lined up just yet. Nope. We have media. Media is not synonymous with images in my setup here, which is a little confusing. So I'm just gonna, we'll have to figure that out, but we'll do admin images. Yeah. We've got admin tags, admin images. This page, oh, we do have this page kind of scaffold for us. And then we have images, which we don't have yet. Cool. So we made a lot of progress today. We finished up our edit page, added all this functionality in here. We did some responsive tweaks. We added this navigation in here. So I'm feeling pretty good about this progress today. So we'll do one final commit here. Git status. Added secondary nav to posts index. And we probably will make that a partial just to make it a little easier for our other pages. Nice. We'll do git push. Awesome. Well, thank you for sticking around and chatting with me and spending your Saturday morning watching. Always appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions about anything. I'm going to post this on YouTube afterwards, so y'all can review it on your own time if you want to. Next Wednesday, I don't have any portfolio feedback lined up, so if you want some feedback on your portfolio or your project or anything like that, just let me know. Happy to take a look. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.